All right, how about we do a little instant reaction? Not exactly the most appealing Monday Night Football game of all time. The Broncos had about, 150 yards in penalties. So let's start with this. We would all admit these were really bad offensive lines. So the best offensive lineman for the Broncos, Garrett Bowles, broke his leg earlier this year. He's out. So this is a really bad O-line. It wasn't great with their top left tackle. It's atrocious now. The Chargers are missing Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, and Corey Linsley, a Pro Bowl center. They were down to their third-string center. So let's admit their offensive line's a mess. I mean, did the Chargers have 6 or 7 holding calls? So these were 2 really bad offensive lines. Let's start with that. I think we would also agree nobody watching that game loves the 2 offensive staffs. Nathaniel Hackett so far looks overwhelmed. Denver's head coach, he's an offensive guy. Brandon Staley's a defensive guy as a head coach. But Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, nothing's clever. Not a lot of easy completions. They're also missing Keenan Allen. So to me, the difference in this game, and you know I like Russell Wilson, but the difference in this game was just Justin Herbert. Now, it wasn't a beautiful performance, but we had 2 offensive staffs nobody's in love with. Lots of penalties with both teams. Really beat up bad offensive lines. The Chargers were also missing their top receiver and their top pass rusher. So the Chargers, there's an excuse here. I mean, they're missing a Pro Bowl center, a Pro Bowl left tackle, their best receiver, their best pass rusher. But Herbert made a play, and I'm glad Troy Aikman mentioned it. It was only an 8 or 9 yard completion. But the final completion of this game by Herbert is why he's a top 5 quarterback. Okay, 6'5", huge arm. So the ball is snapped to him. It's 3rd and long. And there was some question before the play if they were just going to just try, run it for a couple yards, try a long field goal. Herbert gets flushed out of the pocket immediately, rolling slightly backwards and to his left. He's a right-handed thrower. And it looks pedestrian. That's an incredibly difficult throw for about 8 to 9 yards, and it gives them a much easier field goal. I don't think Russell Wilson can make that throw. In fact, Pete Carroll had mentioned it at a presser. He's not as good going left. Now, he could go left and make completions, but that was a much harder completion than people realize. And when you look at the difference tonight, neither offensive line could offer protection. But here's the difference. Russell Wilson had 15 completions. Herbert had 37. With a 3rd-string center and a backup left tackle and missing Keenan Allen and not a consistent run game. That's the difference in this game. You know, Josh Allen, until this year, has had, I believe, a below-average offensive line. Josh Allen, until maybe this year, has had a really insufficient run game. When you don't have a franchise quarterback, you're constantly pointing fingers at the O-line and the coach and the drops by your wide receivers. Justin Herbert was running for his life. No Keenan Allen. Mike Williams was taken out by Denver's excellent corners, and he completed 37 throws. Like, that's a franchise quarterback. You do not win that game with an average quarterback. And it wasn't pretty and it wasn't artistic. Joe Burrow last year throwing multiple interceptions and winning at Tennessee in the playoff game. They're not all pretty. Okay, they are not all pretty. But that little 9-yard, 8-yard completion by Herbert, there's 6-7 guys in this league that make it look that easy and make that play. 6'5", flushed out of the pocket, running left, turns his body and throws a fastball strike down the field for a completion. The fact that he had 37 completions, basically to a tight end, a special teams player that was moved into a receiving role. And I mean, it was really, I know it wasn't pretty, but Justin Herbert is really, really talented. I also don't think His offensive coordinator, not a lot is clever. A lot of those throws, they're asking him to make very difficult throws. So that's my initial take. I'm very proud of the predictions I've made this year. I spend a lot of time on it. I love football. I predicted the Packers were wildly overrated. I feel pretty good about that. I predicted the Vikings would start winning all those close games they lost last year, would win the NFC North and be the surprise team in the league. I feel pretty good about that. I don't feel good about my Denver prediction because regardless of who you want to blame, I don't love the offensive line, and Garrett Bowles is not coming back. They can't run the ball consistently, and the top running back's out for the season. I don't love Nathaniel Hackett. I think he is what he is. And Russell Wilson, behind an average offensive line as a smaller quarterback, completed tonight 15 throws. By the way, not only was Joey Bosa hurt, he's out for 8 more weeks, but J.C. Jackson, their top corner, was benched. And this was not exactly a tough road environment. There are probably more Bronco fans than Charger fans. I think this is what Denver's going to be. There are teams in this league struggling offensively, like the Rams. They're getting their center, Brian Allen, a top 10 center back this next game. They're getting Van Jefferson back in November. They may make a trade at the trading deadline. Like, you could see the Rams kind of bailing water until they get Van Jefferson back, Brian Allen back. Allen Robinson had, 5-6 catches this weekend? You could see them making a little push at the end of the season. You look up and they're 9-8 or they're 10-7, and they kind of get in as a wild card team. This is what Denver is. Even the Chargers, Bosa's coming back, Keenan Allen's coming back, Corey Linsley, the center's coming back. You can see both LA teams really having a stronger second half. I've said this about the Raiders. Raiders are 1-4. They've lost 4 close games to good teams. This is what Denver is. The O-line's not getting better. Nathaniel Hackett's not getting better. And Russell Wilson, 15 completions tonight. I did see something last week that I thought was interesting. There was a story out that Russell Wilson, in order to contact him as a teammate, you have to go through like his manager. Am I the only person watching Russell and his receivers and thinking their communication's not great? I mean, Jerry Jeudy and Hamler, they're just not targeted very often. Like, if that story is true and I have to go through your manager to talk to you, I hope that's not true. It's kind of the responsibility of the rich star veteran quarterback to communicate with young people. I've been very critical of Aaron Rodgers on this. Dude, got to communicate with these young guys. You're the veteran. You're the rich guy. You're the mentor. You're the father figure, right? This Denver prediction, it's not good. Not happy with it at all. And I just think this is it. Sometimes you just got to own your misses. You know what I mean? I wish I could take a mulligan. Well, the Vikings-Packers prediction, I feel fantastic. But there you go. Just a little 10-minute wrap on what I saw tonight. Listen, the good news for the Chargers, Denver's a mess. The Raiders keep losing close games. You look at the AFC right now. Baltimore struggling a little bit more than we thought. Miami's falling apart. There's some opportunities here for the Chargers. Feel like a top 10 team to me. We'll see you.